Alrighty, guys, we're back for Orzhov Graveyard, and this is Emergers at Karlov Manor, Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, this was a patron suggestion, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. It was essentially to put a list together that hated on the opponent's graveyard, but loved having things in your own graveyard. We have like a little bit of a Reanimator style build in here with cards like Invasion of Tolvada. This is a 5-mana Battle Siege with 5 defense counters. When it ETBs, you return target non-battle permanent from your graveyard to the battlefield. We have a whole bunch of things that we wouldn't mind grabbing out of our own grave with Invasion of Tolvada, like Virtue of Persistence, for example, right? We have all 4 of these in here. That is an enchantment that we definitely wouldn't mind bringing back with the Invasion of Tolvada. But you see, I'm rearranging this for a good reason because, of course, it has that adventure side, sorcery speed, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. You gain 2 life. Yep, that's pretty good, man. We have more just top-end things that we wouldn't mind cheating onto the board, like Cemetery Desecrator, 6 mana, 4/4, rocking that menace. When it ETBs or dies, exile another card from a graveyard. When you do, you get to choose one of these. You can remove X counters from target permanent, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. Okay. Or target creature an opponent controls gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the mana value of the exiled card. Yeah, dude, Cemetery Desecrator's really cool, especially when you pair it with your battles too, because you can choose that top ability to remove X counters, and since those defense counters are getting removed, you could potentially flip this relatively easy. And we do have other battles packed in too, like Invasion of Fiora here on the top end, 6 mana, 4 defense Battle Siege. When it ETBs, you can choose one or both, so you can either destroy all legendary creatures and or destroy all non-legendary creatures. Potentially, you could have a one-sided board wipe because we do have some legendary creatures packed in. Although a lot of builds in general run legendary creatures too, you're probably going to be choosing both of these more often than not, but you never know, man. Now, when this flips, it flips into Marquesa Resolute Monarch. This is a 3/6 legendary creature with menace and death touch. This is one that we definitely wouldn't mind flipping here. So when it attacks, you remove all counters from up to 1 target permanent. So again, works really well with your other battles. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if you haven't been dealt damage since your last turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. That's a pretty cool ability, man. It could keep your hand nice and stocked up. Might as well finish going over the top end here. We have a couple Breach the Multiverse. 7 mana, sorcery speed. Each player mills 10 cards for each player. Choose a creature or planeswalker card in that player's graveyard. Put those onto the battlefield under your control. Then each creature you control becomes a Phyrexian in addition to its other types. Breach the Multiverse has proven itself to be a very powerful card, and we see it more often than not in Rakdos control. Or Rakdos midrange. I don't really know what they would call that. I think they call it control though. Yeah, dude. And we have a whole bunch of stuff that we wouldn't mind ripping out of our build for free as far as creatures and planeswalkers go. Even if it's as simple as one of our 4 mana creatures. They are powerful 4 mana creatures. And then hopefully we're just stealing like a Tali from the opponent or something ridiculous. Check out our Toxrill, guys. It's a 7 mana, 7/7. At the beginning of each end step, you put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. And then, whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, you create a 1/1 black slug creature token. For blue and a black, you can sacrifice a slug to draw a card. Not going to be activating that bottom ability too often because it's not an Esper build, it is an Orzhov build. However, we do have a Raffine's Tower packed in here just in case. And then also, sometimes we'll end up flooding out. And so the cycling on this could go a long way too. As far as flooding out goes, let's talk about this real quick. We have 27 land. Hopefully that's enough because a lot of this top end stuff, we're actually just not going to end up cheating out too often with like Invasion of Tolvada. More often than not, we're just going to be casting this stuff. And that's the goal, at least. We're going to do our dandiest to survive 7 turns and then just cast, like, or 6 turns, cast the Cemetery Desecrator right out of our hand, right? So that's the goal. That's the goal. Hopefully 27 land is enough. Now we do have so many of the -X/-X style abilities where Massacre Girl made the cut as a 3 of. 4 mana, 4/4, rocking that menace. It is a legendary creature. Creatures you control have Wither. So a sorcerer with Wither deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters. That's pretty sick. So whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, If its toughness was less than 1, you get to draw a card. Okay, why not, huh? Now, outside of Massacre Girl, of course, we have one Sheoldred in here that we wouldn't mind hitting. Like, even if you revive Sheoldred with an Invasion of Tolvada, you're really not crying about that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're spending 5 mana on this, but bringing back Sheoldred is just, like, so good. Like, do we have to justify having the one of? Probably not. You know what I mean? It couldn't be like a love-hate relationship with graveyards without Graveyard Trespasser, right? All 4 of them packed in here. It's going to be terrific. That life gain goes the extra mile. In a deck like this, too, I do wonder how easy it's going to be to get to nighttime. I think it's going to be pretty often that we get this to Graveyard Glutton. And then hopefully we don't end up wiping this off of our board too often, but we do have more board wipes packed in, like Path of Peril. At the 3 mana version, it actually doesn't pick up Trespasser, which is pretty good. So 3 mana, it has a cleave cost for 4, a white, and a black. If you don't pay the cleave cost, though, it's just going to be destroy all creatures with mana value 2 or less, which of course will really come in handy against a very aggressive deck. So like Soldiers, Go Wide Boros we've been seeing. We still see mono white aggro. Of course, mono red too. Path of Peril takes care of everything except for Godric out of those, you know what I mean? So, all right. Moving on. We went over the Virtue of Persistence, right? I did, right? Bro, I get so lost while going over these like big mid-range decks. Hopefully, I already went over Virtue of Persistence. We do have more removal packed in here. Black Sun's Twilight. X and a black, instant speed. Up to 1 target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. If X is 5 or more, return a creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So another way to rip creatures out of our graveyard, and X has to be 5 or more. So you can't do something fancy like X is 3 and grab a Graveyard Trespasser back from your grave. Now, if Trespasser was your only creature, you'd still have to go X is 5 to bring back the Trespasser, which would be 6 mana, remove a creature, grab a creature. That's actually pretty cool, huh? Especially if it is Trespasser, because then when it ETBs, you get to exile a target card from the opponent's graveyard. More ways to help us survive early on. Rockin' Sunset Revelry. The humans go a long way as chump blockers. The life gain goes even further because 4 life is actually really good. More often than not, I think we're going to be less life than the opponent too. I don't know how often we're going to get a card draw on Revelry, but it's just such a value card. I thought we'd try it out in here just to attempt more survival. Like I said, we definitely want to get to that late game. Also rocking Tenacious Underdog in here. You never know when blitzing this back is going to be the only way to restock our hand. I also just don't mind it as a chump blocker overall early game, or not necessarily a chump. It can trade into a lot of things too. Being a 3/2 Tenacious Underdog is really good. More removal rockin' Stroke of Midnight. This is a 3 mana instant speed. Destroy target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a 1/1 white human creature token. So at that point, once you give them the human and you destroy a non-land permanent, which is pretty wild, man. So it can pick up planeswalkers. It can pick up enchantments. There's so many enchantments that we wouldn't mind hitting, right? Insidious Roots has been floating about a lot recently. And then also, there's a lot of artifacts still in Standard that we wouldn't mind picking up. This hits non-land permanents, man. That's pretty cool. Now, I do have an honorable mention over here, though. Legions to Ashes is also 3 mana, but it's sorcery speed, but it exiles. But then their creature doesn't go to the grave, so we wouldn't get to pick it up with like Trespasser or something too. But I wanted to bring up Legions to Ashes because Orzhov has so much great removal to choose from. Let's look at this, man. Exile target non-land permanent an opponent controls, and all tokens that player controls with the same name as that permanent. Like I said, we're seeing a lot of Insidious Roots. You totally target a plant, and then all the plants go bye-bye. That's actually really cool to think about, isn't it? So honorable mentions for a reason, huh? Oh, we have more battles. Invasion of Innistrad. This is a 4 mana battle siege, rocking 5 defense counters. It has flash, so we can totally play it on the opponent's turn. When Invasion of Innistrad enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls gets -13/-13 until end of turn. On the flip side is Deluge of the Dead. It's an enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, create 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. Then the bottom ability here, for 2 and a black, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Nice. It's going to be a nice fit in here. We want more battles. We like that the -13/-13 works with Massacre Girl, and then it fits that theme of graveyards, right? Okay, is that everything? It's not. It's not. I'm so sorry, guys. We got Junji the Midnight Sky in here, too. This is a 5-mana, 5/5 legendary creature, rocking flying and menace. And when it dies, you can get to choose one of these. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life, or put a non-dragon creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield and you lose 2 life. So another way to potentially replenish our board state, revive some of our powerful creatures. That could be really, really good. More stuff in the mana base too. We have like Restless Fortress over here and a couple Shadowy Backstreet. We wouldn't mind that Surveil by any means. That is a lot of tap land, hopefully not holding us up too much. Hopefully the Pain land doesn't end up doing too much damage, but we do have a lot of life gain packed in as well. I think there's going to be a lot of ways just to survive in this build, man. Got Abandoned Mire and a Seat of the Empire. One more honorable mention over here. I thought about Push and Pool for this one. I actually think this card looks decent, and I think if it should have been in any deck, then it should have been this deck. You know what I mean? Okay, guys, hopefully that's everything. My goodness, enough rambling, huh? Let's go ahead, take it into some ranked, and see how we do. Okay, hey, right into that first match. Let's go. During my little intro there, it kind of looked like my recording software was lagging a little bit, so hopefully everything's good to go. Okay, 2 mana. We have our removal. 27 land in the deck, guys. Opponent goes first. Is this keepable, bro? Okay, let's give it a shot. I mean, as long as we see mana for a couple turns in a row, or before we need it, right? Like, as long as we see mana when we need to see it is what I'm trying to get at here. Lunarch Veteran. Okay, so mana off the top. I am satisfied with this. Go ahead and get that Shattered Sanctum down without any worries. Get ready with that Swamp. Is this worth picking up? I guess it depends what 2 mana card they drop. Bar's Headquarters. Oh. Oh? Defender. Tap 3 untapped creatures you control, surveil 1. Okay. Virtue on Lunarch Veteran. They could bring it back with Disturb. Disturb, Surveil. Guys, Insidious Roots. Well, this is sorcery speed. I guess it might even be better to hit the zombie, right? I guess, because they can instantly bring back the Veteran. Tap 3 untapped creatures, surveil 1. I don't really know, because we don't want them to gain too much life, but at the same time, I don't know. Now the Veteran's probably okay to hit. Okay, see, we're seeing our mana when we need to see it. That's all fine and dandy. Our hand is very expensive, though. My goodness. No black mana yet for the opponent. So maybe it's not Insidious Roots. We're playing Virtue just for the sake of playing Virtue. As any big creature they play, hopefully we'll just find more removal in time. You know what I mean? But like the life gain goes the extra mile. Board wipe wouldn't be bad to see off the top. We don't have too many packed in, though. More mana, totally fine. Could go Invasion of Innistrad. But it's probably just Sheoldred, right? Since they don't have any, so they go for the Surveil for the turn. It might not be Insidious Roots. I mean, a four color Insidious Roots I have not seen yet. But that was my first thought process with the Luminous Phantom. Being able to use that Disturb cost. Oh, dude, a board wipe would be so gross. Haha, Path of Peril would pick up everything. Hey, they get a good swing in the air here, guys. We should probably start to get concerned. Especially if we don't hit 7 mana on time, too. Looks like they're going to keep a blocker back with the Phantom. I'm a little surprised by that, actually. Everything buffs. Cemetery Desecrator, back up to 21. So I suppose we just keep Invasion of Innistrad open. They have 1 card remaining. They do have blue in here, but no proof of counter spells, so we should be fine. I'd rather do this and make sure we actually hit that Restless Anchorage, you know what I mean? This has Defender. An awesome full swing here. Although Sheoldred blocks well on the ground, probably blocks that Veteran. And then we take out their Anchorage in the air. Okay, we just pass it back. Yeah, more mana is definitely not going to hurt anything here. Go for the Surveil. The zombie totally doing a thing since they went so wide here. They can do this again. Oh, that's why they didn't swing. They wanted to be able to Surveil twice, which is actually just really good, man. Yeah, like they don't want to see a plains off the top, so get out of here. They send it to the grave, and looks like whatever they kept on top, they kept it on top for a good reason, probably. Let's see what it ends up being. Hopefully, they still end up powering up the Restless Anchorage for the turn, because hitting that would be huge for us with the invasion. Knight Errant of Eos. Okay. Opponent's deck is pretty sick, dude. This is Bant Go Wide, huh? I thought for sure it was going to be like 4-color Insidious Roots because I've been running into so many Insidious Roots builds. So Knight Errant of Eos would be a good target for the invasion as well. But mana off the top, Cemetery Desecrator could take care of that too. Wait, no it can't. There's nothing in the grave, guys. I mean, Sheoldred still blocks it well. Knight Errant or Restless Anchorage. Or they're just going to play Knight Errant number 2, huh? No, they are going to power up the Anchorage. Okay, thank goodness. Yeah, taking that out of the air is pretty good, man. Depending on what else they have in hand, they might keep Phantom back to tap 3 for the Surveil on the zombie. No, they're going to go for damage this time. Oh, guys, I should have done this before they got the map token. I'm just over here distracting myself with too much talking. They do get some life gain here. We're not going to be able to flip the Invasion of Innistrad just yet, unfortunately. If we would have went on to Knight Errant, that is a 5-mana card. Oh, crap, guys. We are now only seeing our top end, and our top end is not going to do it. With 5 mana on the board and nothing to play in hand, we are in danger, and we should keep that Sheoldred as a blocker, and we probably can't even block the Knight Errant. Their second Knight Errant can come down and successfully restock their hand with a couple more creatures that they could play out, gain some life off their double veterans. We're in big trouble missing that turn. Even if we saw a land, the biggest thing we could have done was our Desecrator. And the biggest thing we could have hit was a -1/-1. So, hey, even then, we wouldn't have done anything. We would have done -1 counter on the invasion and seen if they let the Sheoldred hit through. Which at that point, they probably would have let it go. Okay, board wipe off the top, come on, or land, but like, at this point, I don't think the 6th mana is going to do it, guys. If we block with Sheoldred, we can take the Sheoldred out of the build. Oh my goodness, guys, that is 3 Knight Errant of Eos. Now our Path of Peril actually doesn't even matter. It cleans up everything except for the Knight Errants, which now that they have 3 of them, that's still super duper scary. Yeah, guys, the deck is very mana hungry, so should this have been a mulligan? Potentially. Black Sun's Twilight. Have an incredible swing next turn. Check this out, dude. Wingmantle Chaplain. Alright, opponent. Dude. Sick build. I'm not really sure what we could have done past the Breach the Multiverse. So we keep Black Sun's Twilight open as removal. The biggest thing we're going to hit is that Surge Engine. Wait a minute, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. These are sorcery speed. We should hit it now, huh? We should hit it now before they can plug excess into it to make it a 5 4, which will be 1 out of the range of the Black Sun's Twilight. Yep, we should totally hit this now. And that's a good hit, I would say. Yeah, because next turn, they make it so that way it can't be blocked, and then they pay the 3, make it a 5-4, which is actually just a 6-5 at that point. Once it gets to 6-5, we only have X's 4 on the Black Sun's Twilight, so that would have been 6 going through. Meeting of Minds restocking their hand, getting a little punished for Sheoldred, not like it matters, they're gaining so much life from the Lunarch veterans. It's kind of hard not to root for the opponent a little bit here. We have a Orzhov control, and we're going up against like a defender style build, which is actually just really neat, man. These the triple knight errants, if they push through right now, I mean, yeah, right now is when they want to push, like full swing period. They go for the wing mantle before they lose some of their defenders. They get triple birdies in the air, 6 more life. Yeah, if we see Path of Peril, we don't even have the 6 mana to do the cleave cost. So either way, we needed a little bit more land here. Oh, are they going to be cautious with the swing? Get 2 in the air. It looks like they decide we can play the long game. But I think it would still be a full swing. Yeah, here it comes. Here it comes, guys. So that is a forced block there. 10, 14, 20. 20 getting through. And if we block a 2-2, it would be 23. Correct? I think I mathed properly there. Oh, it was 22 getting through. So yeah, we definitely were forced to block the Knight Errant. So I missed one of the 2/2 humans over here. Black Sun's Twilight. Oh no, guys. Well, we can successfully take out the Wing Mantle, and it has that bottom ability where whenever another creature with Defender enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. They have Surge Engine in hand, so that's definitely worth picking up. But the opponent definitely swarmed us, and we're going to let them play this out as long as they don't take too long, because that does look like a really fun swing. In the meantime, guys, always check out the chapters down at the bottom of the video. A good game, opponent. Looked like a really fun deck. Did we get a little unlucky not seeing the 6th mana? Eh, maybe a little. 27 mana. That means there's 22 remaining in the build for a few turns there. So not even half the deck at that point. We still had 45 cards in the deck. So we were coming close to flipping a coin for a 2 turns, or for a few turns in a row. Yeah, at that point, I guess. But even so, even if we would have seen that 6th mana, we would have needed to see the 7th mana right after that, as we were just drawing our top end things. Like, our only hope would have been the Breach the Multiverse. On that note, I think this is the style of deck where we want to consider only keeping hands that have 3 mana. And so the 2 mana was totally risky. Oh dear. Oh dear, guys. We should ball again. Yeah, we go first here too. There we go. Okay. Yeah, when 27 mana feels like 22, huh? It happens sometimes, unfortunately. An Invasion of Tolvada. This is a very slow hand, but I say we ditch a Shattered. No, we don't need to. We can get rid of the Caves, because we don't have a turn 1 here anyways. Yep, totally fine. Even though we were struggling for mana last time, since we do have 27, ditching a land makes the most sense there to me, as we could easily just flood out. Stroke of Midnight actually would have been really bad against that last deck, dude. Alright, triple Shattered Sanctums. We are mana fixed for the rest of the game. Keeping Stroke of Midnight open might be not great, but I also don't want them to be able to swing at their 1/1. Let's see what they end up doing. We might have a better target too, even though Ellis Ilkor is a really good target. On top of the stack here, before they gain more life, we could go Stroke of Midnight. They end up making something a little bit more expensive. I'm going to take out the Elisil Core. I think the Deep Cavern Bat isn't the target there anyways, and they could easily just take the Stroke of Midnight, so that way we couldn't target the Deep Cavern Bat regardless. Invasion of Tolvada makes sense. Path of Peril. Hi there, buddy. You were hiding from me in the last game, and I'm upset about it. You want to talk about it? What were you doing? No, in that last game, like, having 3 Path of Perils would have been really good. But again, the cleave cost is 6. We didn't even have enough mana for that, so... we could drop Path of Peril. Hopefully it's not second bat, because I'm going to get greedy with this, man. Path of Peril's sticking around. Let's hope that they don't drop bat number 2. It's going to be Amalia. Okay. We get that Explore because they gained life from the Lunarch Veteran. Path of Peril is going to be excellent here. I'm going to keep Deep Cavern Bat back because they know we have the Seat of the Empire in hand. Okay. Mana for days. We're going to drop the Restless Fortress. We're going to wipe this board, dude. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Path of Peril. Let's do it. On the other end of a Path of Peril, finally, huh? Now, opponent knows exactly what we have in hand. Lunarch Veteran. Oh, Deep Cavern Bat. Wow, okay. Well, it would be Cemetery Desecrator then, probably. Oh, we will be able to hit that with the Desecrator. Oh, more mana. I don't know if I mind that or if I'm upset about this swamp. I can't really tell. I don't know what we want after that last one, right? I do know I want to be able to... Lunarch Veteran. That will be -1/-1. Onto the bat. I do know I want to be able to restock my hand here, so hopefully maybe Massacre Girl will make an appearance. Extraction Specialist, bring the bat back. They really do not want us to have this Invasion of Tolvada in hand. That's really funny, man. Can't attack or block until the Specialist is gone. So, like, Restless Fortress, looks like they're missing some mana here. Just like playing Sheoldred is way better. If they trade into this, they still have the bat. When this dies, I can get rid of the bat. They don't know what we drew. So I think they take the 4. Yeah. They take the 4 here. And they still know about the Seat. But we'll have 2 open since Sheoldred's legendary. We do have Seat open then. See if it's not instant speed spot removal. It's gonna be Case of the Uneaten Feast. What exactly does this do? Oh, this is the one. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. To solve, you've gained 5 or more life this turn. Okay. I guess I'll worry about that after they solve it, right? They'll have a pretty solid full swing. They don't know what this is. We could power up Restless Fortress. Be a 1/4. They can block there. They gain a little bit. But then the other 2 might get through, right? Okay. We don't want to forget that we still have 2 open for Seat of the Empire, which we could clean up the Specialist that way if we wanted to. We go for the full swing. Just powerful Orzhov cards right now is what's going down. So Deep Cavern Bat. So we want them to lose the Specialist and not gain 3 life. There's not going to be a whole lot of other great targets for Seat of the Empire. I'd say this is best case scenario. Or one of the best case scenarios, right? Where we actually hit them for 10 total damage that time round, right? And then another with Sheoldred coming in. Swing with Bat, gain a bit of life, play the creature, gain 2 more, 3, 4, yeah, no, 3 more life. Oh man, I panicked a little bit. I thought they were going to solve this because then I would have had to read and that sounds awful. Now let's see, let's see, solving. Sacrifice this case. Creature cards in your graveyard gain. You may cast this card from your graveyard. Oh, they got rid of Desecrator with the... with the Gumdrop Poisoner. Bro, okay. Well, let's go ahead and get rid of Extraction Specialist. And we're going to hit the Deep Cavern Bat because I want to bring back the Desecrator with the Invasion. Hey, Massacre Girl. Dude, sick. Okay. This also has lifelink too. I wouldn't mind getting Massacre Girl down on the board before reviving, but then if they have anything, like another Deep Cavern Bat or something, we actually have a lot of options here. We could start with the swing and see what happens. They might take it. We have to be scared about this case, right? Being able to cast stuff back. Oh, it's only until end of turn, though. Okay. Greed it is, right? Greed it is. Let's do this. Get Massacre Girl down. Oh, crap. Are we swinging with Sheoldred, though? Maybe I should have considered that before. Well, now Sheoldred has Wither, so not that it really matters, but yeah. I guess if they block now, the Wither will get through and we'll end up drawing and then restocking our hand. So actually, it does matter. Yeah. That's good. They take the 4. They are missing some mana this entire time, guys. They are in the position we were in the last game, unfortunately. However, that being said, it looks like they might not be running that much mana anyways. They have been successfully playing most of everything. I'm just going to take that because Seat of the Empire, as we have here, they could easily have. Flip the case. They don't have any... Oh, they can do that at any time. They can sacrifice this whenever they want. Okay, okay. That's cool. Hey, GG opponent. Oh, darn. We didn't get to actually draw off the Massacre Girl. Darn. I should have tried to blitz that turn as fast as possible right now. I think the concede was coming either way. They knew we had Invasion. This was actually really sick, man. So Invasion, bring back Desecrator, pick up like Deep Cavern Bat out of their grave, or maybe like Elisil Core at that point too, if they were planning on casting anything back. Then we would pop the Gumdrop Poisoner with the Desecrator. That's a -X ability, so we would draw on the Massacre Girl. And I think the Poisoner would still be worth picking up over like the Veteran or something, where like, yeah, we could have taken a blocker out of the way to swing further. But like, you know, life, like a 3/2 lifelink's pretty gross. So even if they wanted to just like chump 2 in a row, that's totally fine. Plus this has Menace as well. And then we would have drawn even more because of the Wither ability. Okay, no, that's pretty sick. I like that. We definitely fizzled out. We needed more card draw a little bit earlier. So the Massacre Girl was a really good draw. But like earlier, I think it would have been a little better. Would it have been better than the Sheoldred hit? At that point in the game? Maybe, right? I think so. All right, so far so good. I feel like it's playing out okay. Like the first game, yeah, we didn't see mana, but like it is what it is. Like outside of that, the cards did a thing, and the cards really did a thing in that second game. So yeah, not bad, not bad. See if we can keep up the pace. 27 mana, it really doesn't feel like it. We're going to try this one. I know it's greedy, but we start with that Surveil and we see a land on top. We're happy about it. We keep it. We don't, we ditch it. We try to find that land on top. That's totally fine here. And all we need to do is hit 3 and then wait a couple turns and we should be able to draw right into it. Crap. That's actually really tough, man, because if we ditch it to find the 3rd mana, then we don't have Path of Peril. What if we are in desperate need of a board wipe? I say we stick to the plan. We look for the 3rd mana on the Surveil. 27 might need to be 28, guys. It very well might need to be. We still have a couple turns, though, to worry about that. And Sunset Revelry could keep us in an extra turn if we do end up missing. Okay, we end up missing this time, but next time... So we could play this, get a chump blocker down. We won't gain any life from it. How greedy do you guys usually get with Sunset Revelry? I don't get to play with this too often, because if we take the 3, sure, we'll gain an extra 1. But Yeah, I guess actually we save it because if we miss the third off the top next turn, we'll still want a 2-drop to play. Outside of that, a late game Revelry is not a bad thing, so. Okay, Trespasser, they might as well exile the Path of Peril. For fun. For a good time. There it goes. I'm sweating, guys. I'm sweating. I'm the one who kept the hand, so. And we were only able to dig 1 card deep so far. I wonder what their thought process is here with not swinging with Underdog. Maybe they were thinking about the 3rd mana. Let's go. Okay. Now what? Could play our own Trespasser. It just kind of chills. Revelry still might be the best bet. Go back up to 21, have a chump blocker for both of these. So, Stroke of Midnight is probably not the greatest. The reason Trespasser is decent is because of that ward cost. They really don't. They'd rather us trade into their Trespasser. Hang on what we draw. We see an untapped source. Massacre Girl's really good. We need to see mana every turn for like 4 turns in a row, dude. The deck is incredibly mana hungry right now. They go for the discard. They're going to go for swinging in 6. The discard was a Tenacious Underdog. That's pretty good. Now we do have the Graveyard Hate side of things in here too, though. Another Trespasser off the top, exile the Underdog. We could be in a lot of trouble if they just decide, well, I'm going to remove it and swing 6 again. Down to 10. We are in danger. But luckily, Sunset Revelry could pull us back in a little bit, give us some really good chump blocks. We go Revelry, and they go like cut down, then we're back in the danger zone, and we are in fact missing the 4th mana here. If we go Stroke of Midnight before the swing on the Trespasser, we ditch like a Breach because that's 7 mana, and the double breaches have been really, really bad in these matches. We do that on their turn, we take 3. Their 1/1 doesn't swing in. Trespasser will at least be off this board. It's gobbling up the grave too, so when it comes time for like our 6 mana card, having less is not great. Okay, we go for picking up the Trespasser. Massacre Girl would have been great, but let's be real, it could have easily been. Oh, it's the Glutton, bro. Oh no, luckily the ward cost doesn't double too. It's still just discard 1 card. They find their 4th, could be Sheoldred. Sheoldred would be a good one to pick up. Right, so we still just take out Glutton because that's a lot of damage coming in. Breach the Multiverse just not cutting it for us. And then if we wanted to, if we were like close to our 5th mana, we would have maybe ditched a different, like a permanent instead. There's our 4th, but we are down to 5. I still think Glutton was the best bet, but now Sheoldred needs to be taken care of. We do it on our turn. They bring back Tenacious Underdog and they swing for 7. So actually, it's Revelry, isn't it? We found our 4th mana, but the only course of survival here is being able to chump and going back up to 9. Because we can't take 7 damage this turn at this point. Okay, we'll see, huh? Could be double spot removal. They still have 2 cards remaining in hand. Okay, they do go for the Blitz. And we have to block here, block here. We're taking 4. Oh, yep. That should do it. We end up taking the 7 and then the extra 2 from the Sheoldred. Man, that lined up really nicely for them. Okay, should we have mulliganed? Probably. Instant speed removal for Sheoldred. Let's go. And then we die. But still, that's pretty cool, huh? Another Revelry off the top. So we ended up missing that mana. Yeah, dude, I totally forgot. Flash on this is instant speed removal before the Sheoldred ability kicks in. That was pretty cool, though. Hey, good game, opponent. Dude, after those couple games, we really got to talk about 28, 29, 32. 34? No, okay, now I'm just being silly. But but no, seriously, this deck is so mana hungry, and missing the land is pretty brutal at 27 land. It's pretty rough. Okay, what about ramp? Could we consider ramp for this deck? About 40 minutes in, guys. Let's push it. Let's go one more. I think that this deck is more than capable of doing more cool things than what we're actually seeing here. Like, yeah, that victory was cool, but we didn't get to do too many neat things. I just feel like there's a lot of neat synergies and stuff packed in that we're not really seeing. So let's try to go one more. Let's see if we get a good one. Let's mulligan if we only have 2 land in our starting hand, right? At that point, are we getting a little unlucky not seeing it sometimes? Maybe. I don't really know. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Okay, we got a mulligan. Okay, 3 mana. Okay, whew, jeez. Early removal. Yep. All right, we ditched the Breach the Multiverse because apparently we're not going to be able to cast that. So let's ditch that. Right. Much better hand. Any land off the top is welcome for a couple turns too. So, Massacre Girl. Sure. Going first here is pretty good. Hopefully slows the opponent down a little bit. Running right into a counterspell wouldn't be great, but I think if it happens, it happens, and it's totally fine. It's going to be a make disappear. Okay. It's totally fine, because we're going to see a land off the top, right, guys? Right? Oh, no. Oh, no. We have no targets for our Virtue of Persistence either. Okay. I do have 27 in here, right? Right? The op's sweating. I'm like, I'm wondering now. There it is. Okay. Well, we really would have liked to see that last turn. I do wonder how many turns of counter spells we're going to be running into here. Once we actually get to use the Virtue of Persistence as removal, I think... Oh, lands. Okay, well, that's probably spot removal then. Outrageous Robbery. Dude, Massacre Girl is totally alive. What does this do? Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana. Oh. And they only took 1 card from us, huh? Mana! Let's go, dude! Okay. Well, what the crap do I want here? We're not going to get to draw off a Massacre Girl because opponent's not playing any creatures. Yeah, so far, I feel like the deck is more suited to go up against aggro, but with the hands that we saw before this one, our hands were way too slow, too. We power up Restless Fortress and it dies, then we're just, like, in trouble. We can't power that up, dude. Like, if they pop the Fortress and we're even further behind on mana, dude, we got that 4 damage through. Okay. Not bad. Now we wait. We wait for the opponent to play some creatures. Intrude on the Mind. Oh, this is the 2 piles one. Okay. And then they'll get a Thopter, and then we'll be able to pop the Thopter with a Virtue, and then we'll get a card draw off a Massacre Girl. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Okay, the negate is a problem. I don't mind them having more creatures. Choose a pile to put into the opponent's hand. Okay. When you sacrifice a clue, yeah, you can totally have that creature, man. Because I'm just rocking way too much removal in my hand right now, so... unfortunately, that was at the end of our turn, so we can't play this at sorcery speed either. Other words, if they would have done that a little bit sooner, that would have technically been like a misplay from the opponent. Okay, is it passing back to us? Or are they going to play a creature? Going to play a creature. They still have 4 mana open. Passing it back. Breach the Multiverse. Okay. Hopefully Breach the Multiverse actually gets to do a thing this game, huh? We're only 2 mana short, so we're going to attempt the removal on Wearer of Faces first. Even though the flying 3/3 is a little bit scary, I mean, they're planning on doing... Oh, it lands. We get that card draw. We could find land. We do find land. Let's go, guys. We have 4 open. We're going to start with the swing and see if they decide it's time to remove the Massacre Girl. Down to 12. Okay. We are going to attempt the removal on the Thopter. Come on. Come on. Yes, it hits its mark. We restock our hand. This is awesome, dude. Okay. We have 6 mana for the Cemetery Desecrator. And now we just pass it back. Thirst for Discovery was what they were holding open there. We should be scared. The Mire Colors has so much spot removal. I'm shocked that we didn't run into more counter spells at this point. We didn't give them the negate, luckily, so... Intrude on the Mind looks like a pretty good card, huh? In a control build, I feel like that's pretty decent. Of course, the opponent gets to pick the pile, but just the fact that you get a Thopter, too, I just feel like that's good. Although my style of control likes to actually have creatures to swing in with, so that's probably why I think it's a really neat card. Another Mirex comes down. Any creatures they get onto this board is kind of a threat to themselves until they remove the Massacre Girl, which is restocking our hand. They do find the removal. Deadly Cover-Up means they exile all the Massacre Girls. That's really bad for us. They actually peer into our hand and take that as well. Okay, land off the top. Let's do this. Oh, let me restate that game. Untapped land off the top. Let's do this. Shadowy Backstreet comes down, but... Okay, they're tapped out. We need that untapped source. There it is. Breach the Multiverse is going to come down this turn. Now, wait. Hold on. Hold on. Let me think about this for a second. We go Desecrator. We could... I mean, that's just not nearly as fun. Not nearly as fun, bro. Let's do this. Breach the Multiverse. What are we going to hit? Desecrator! What's in their grave? Oh no, we missed on the opponent's side. We totally missed. Sheoldred's pretty good, but it's probably Desecrator. The Menace is pretty good here too. Yeah, we missed on the opponent's side, guys. That's a shame. Especially when they totally have cards that we could have, well, not many, huh? I'm gonna make sure we grab something chunky. The Dissipate will do. And that'll be -3/-3. All right. We're showcasing something. we're doing something here. Shadowy Backstreet. Huh? Where did they get that from? What was this? Shadowy Backstreet chillin' that they took from us. Sunset Revelry was what they took too. Okay, cool. They totally have the Menace cost then. So a counterspell onto Virtue is probably likely. Let's see that Surveil on the Shadowy Backstreet. I'm going to keep that on top. I don't mind just having more creatures to play. And I think we're going to attempt the Virtue and let the first one get countered. Massacre Girl, all those are gone, so just playing like more removal here, getting that 4-through could be good too. That means like another Desecrator, let them counter this instead. That seems actually a little better, right? Because we do this, if they counter it goes to the grave, we can eventually bring it back with Virtue. And that's one less counter in the opponent's hand. But if it lands, then we get to remove one of the 1/1s, get that swing with the Menace through. So we just want to, I guess like anything's fine, right? Get rid of one of the 1/1s. And yeah, the menace on all this is terrific. I wonder if it'll be some spot removal from the opponent then. Even then, once we establish some of these virtues, it's going to be very powerful. And hopefully, like, our engine just keeps rolling. Okay, back up to 20. We do get to take out this other piece. I guess we'll take the March. That's 1, right? So we do -1, -1. Onto you. Not bad, not bad. I do wonder if we should try to hit other things out of here, but I want to keep the creature for when the Trespasser comes down. Or keep the creature to take back with our virtue. But we have so many value creatures in our grave, so... Intrude on the Mind on their turn, too. They're looking for something. They still have 3 mana open. This is a good game so far. I'm glad we actually get to see the mana, as 27 mana actually feels like 27 mana this time round. Oh. I don't like them having all this excess spot removal to easily take care. Outrageous Robbery, what did they end up taking from us? I think we let them have this pile. They get a 3/3, and I'm not concerned about it because we still have the other virtue too. We want to take it out that way. And X is only 1 for the robbery right now, so... Trespasser. Start with the swing. Menace gets through. I'm still afraid of a counter spell onto the virtue. I'd love to get the virtue down, but I also just kind of feel like maybe we go removal and swing with everything, including Restless Fortress, now that we can risk the loss of the Fortress, too. Fortress would be an extra 3. Although... Yeah, the reason we removed the 3/3 is to actually swing with the Fortress, so that's what we're going to attempt here. And if they end up removing it, we still have 7 on the board, which is still enough for now. So just try to get some excess damage through. Go for the throw. They let us keep our land. And I will exile... I really don't know. Like, the bigger things are fine to keep in there. I guess, like, one of the go for the throats. And then we just go remove counters. And I will remove the counters off of your Shadowy Backstreet. Still get a good swing here. When it has 20 cards remaining in their deck. Let's see if they just go, like, Outrageous Robbery for the turn. They pass it back, another Desecrator. Now we could do this 3 turns in a row and see how many of them get countered. Once one sticks, that should be the engine rolling, hopefully. Dissipate number 2, 3? 1, 2... It was only number 2. They have a negate and a make disappear as well. So they could still have... They're going to go X is 5 on the robbery. Wait, did they only get... Wait. Huh? Why is it only showing 1 over here? Is that just how it displays? They actually have... Okay, yeah, they found our Breach the Multiverse off the robbery! Oh, no, guys. Dude, if that doesn't pull it back their direction, and they actually hit too. Okay, it's not great. They didn't hit like the greatest creatures, but Trespasser is really good, first of all. Because how do we target that ward successfully? Well, that's all scary. However, they are down to 9 cards. At what point do we just try for the mill? And how do we get them? We just need to survive 9 turns. That's a lot of turns, dude, so. Desecrator hit either of these. Probably attempt Desecrator. We'll have 2 open. Tenacious Underdog blocks the Trespasser well. And if it's a counter on Desecrator, then yeah, we still have the other virtues. Okay, at this point, I suppose we can take like the Deadly Cover up here. That's 5. It goes -5 onto the Wearer of Faces, I would say. And then we go Tenacious Underdog. Be able to block. And now we just try to survive and hope that they don't find ways to mill us. Or we have to be careful with what we end up drawing here too. See, if they end up surveilling anything to the grave, they do surveil too. They have 7 cards remaining. Do they draw? They draw down to 6 cards. It's just a matter of survival now, guys. It really, really is. It looks like, am I reading the robbery wrong here? Because it looks like they still have 3 of our cards. I might have read it wrong. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana. So it were mana of any type to cast. Maybe it's just not showing up over there? Am I missing something? Like, why are these 3 exiled? Because maybe it's just not showing up over there. And that's where the Shadowy Backstreet came from earlier, where I was like, hey, where did that come from? But yeah, you'd think they would put it next to their hand or something, if that's the case. They drew down to 2 cards. They drew. Guys, the mill is even closer now. They only have 2 cards remaining in the deck. Oh, man. They pass it back. Stroke of Midnight's pretty good. Honestly, everything here is not half bad. We probably just go Trespasser and keep Stroke of Midnight open. Well, Invasion of Innistrad open too, right? Just more life gain is totally fine, and we're going to end up hitting a creature here. Never mind. Oh, there it is. Up to 25, and we keep the removal open for their turn. They are running out of cards, guys. Keep all blockers back as it's just a matter of survival now. Mirex. Mirex. Okay, cool. Watch them win with poison. They would have to be something absolutely incredible, something insane to win with poison. Oh, Restless Reef. Thank goodness we kept Invasion of Innistrad, as it doesn't just, it targets creature, and like Stroke of Midnight specifically reads non-land permanent. Deadly Cover Up. They're gonna wipe this board, dude. Holy cow. They're going to probably hit Desecrator, I would say. And they want to swing with the Restless Reef and mill us. It would be a 4/4. Whenever it attacks, target player mills 4. So they'd want to attack with that. They still wouldn't have enough turns, but you never know what they have in hand too, dude. I'm kind of on the edge of my seat here, as they still need to draw this. Luckily, Invasion of Innistrad has a chance of taking out Reef, but they could counter it. And then they would need 1 more swing with Reef and then something else fancy too. So really depends, man. It really, really depends. I don't know what we want to hit here, so I'm just gonna take something. Remove X counters. You lose your counters. They power it up. All right. We do this. Let's see that counter spell, dude. It's not going to be a counter. They could potentially... No, nothing. Okay, guys. Okay. We'll play the Virtue of Persistence, because we don't want to draw on the underdog. That's their last card in their deck. I don't know what it could possibly be, as long as they don't somehow have something that grabs cards out of their deck or graveyard and put them back into their deck. They are going for the mill. They have it because Stroke of Midnight is not open here. Toxrill hit the grave. We still have 6 cards remaining. Dude, I'm on the edge of my seat. Like I said, I don't know what it would be, but it could be something. On top? Sure, yeah. On top. GG opponent. Let's go, guys. We just stuck to it. It was just a matter of not drawing too much, and we had a lot of great value there. 50% total win rate, the 27 land deed. I mean, I don't know how much I could possibly complain about that throughout the video. I know I complained about it a lot, but boy, it just didn't feel like 27. In that last game, in the victories, it felt like 27, right? About an hour into the video, huh? Some of these have been running pretty long. Here's the deck list again, guys. We rearrange here because Virtue is early removal because we run into a lot of aggro, which we just didn't see today, huh? If we did, I think this would have a decent chance against aggro. Stroke of Midnight didn't do as much as I would have hoped. There's moments where you generate a human for them and then you immediately remove the human with like your Virtue and then draw off of like Massacre Girl. All that takes setup, but when you're up against control or something, that's pretty good, especially when some control decks just don't have creatures to hit ever. I still like Stroke of Midnight, but I could see going down to one of these and opting for just more utility based on the meta you're seeing. As far as I can tell, everyone sees something different all the time, so really depends what rank you're into, apparently, so all that, huh? Okay. Breach the Multiverse. The two of them actually ended up coming into play in that last one because they ended up milling themselves and not hitting anything that was devastating enough to win the game for them either. When they took that breach, I was like, bro, now it has to be leaning towards them. But that mill was so essential for us to actually win that game as they just drew way more cards than us overall. So would I drop down to 1? Unfortunately, yeah, even though like both of them came into play in that last game, like it just felt like we were getting super punished for playing expensive things, which happens from time to time. But if we drop the Breach the Multiverse down to 1, and we have a bunch of 1-ofs on the top end here that we just don't mind, I would just go up another board wipe. I think another board wipe would just do the thing, and it would do it nicely. At that point, we still have to consider 28 land somehow too. 27, maybe 27 is enough. And we just got unlucky in some of those. You guys will have to let me know in the comments for sure. I actually enjoyed the Sunset Revelry. I think I'd keep the 2. I actually enjoyed the Tenacious Underdog too. I just don't mind having more creatures in my builds like this at all. You end up like hitting your own underdog with a Path of Peril, then of course you can always bring it back, and then that's another way to restock your hand too. Invasion of Innistrad was actually pretty sick, huh? Massacre Girl was pretty sick too. The one Sheoldred was fine. Didn't get to see Junji. Oh, Junji. That's the one, right? We can drop a Breach the Multiverse for more utility based on what you're seeing in your meta. So you go down to 1 Breach, and you could totally drop the Junji to go up another mana up to 28. And I don't know if you'd be complaining too much if you go up to 28 mana. You know what I mean? Like, we were like, every single game, even the ones where we saw the mana, we were like, yeah, more mana off the top wouldn't be terrible. So like 28, maybe some ramp. Maybe something here. Iron Crag? Maybe. Probably not. Probably not the Iron Crag. Well, yeah, just more mana would probably be better than early ramp, but maybe not too. That's tough, man. This is a tough decision, and these style of builds are always well out of my comfort zone too, so hopefully it's fine. I might actually edit this one a little bit for the sake of consistency before dropping it over on the Aether Hub. I don't do that too often. I do it sometimes, and it really depends on how the vibe I'm getting from the list at the end of the video, right? Sometimes I get a vibe like, oh, maybe I should modify this for consistency real quick. Other times I'm like, oh, more testing was definitely required with this deck, you know? In this case, I think I might edit it. I might drop that Breach. I might drop the Junji, go up a land, and for what we saw today, I wouldn't mind just like more utility removal here. So maybe like a Get Lost is what I would add, because that can hit enchantments too, which could really come in handy. But so can the Stroke of Midnight. But like Get Lost isn't non-land, so let me see here real quick. It is just target creature enchantment or planeswalker, so at instant speed we can still take out the Restless Land, which we are seeing a lot of Restless Land, guys, so. Okay, guys, hey, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. Make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link. Great place for the community to just get together, chat it up, chat about decks, talk about the new cards from the new sets, all that fun stuff. And then we also have that Patreon link down in the description too if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. The main benefit, I always bring this up, is the fact that I prioritize patron suggestions over any other suggestions. I do my best to get around to all the suggestions, including the ones from comments and Discord, but I always prioritize patron suggestions first, and then unfortunately, sometimes I don't get around to all the comment suggestions and stuff. So, okay, guys, hey, enough rambling, huh? I will see you in the next video.